Happy hump day, and I got news you need to hear. How about ETH getting close to those all-time highs, taking the alts with it? The Ripple SEC case over. That's bad news for XRP. I'll explain to you why. Operation Choke Point 2.0. Well, guess what? That created one of the biggest crypto moves ever. And it's a move happening right now. We'll talk XRP price action along with...
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
Happy hump day, you jabronis, and what a good Wednesday it is. Do you feel the positivity in my voice? This is authentic. Why? Because I've actually got great news for you. Seriously, great news for you. Even though the XRP SEC case over is a bad thing, I've got great news. Look at the deep green on the screen. Does it get any better than this? Well, yeah, it does around Christmas time when there's green season. Santa Claus season. Now, before we get into the juicy news like all the deep green up on the screen, you know what happens first. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I know it's viewer comments, but guess what I got for you? Fed expectations. Rate cut in September. It's back on, babies. 99.9% chance that we're going to get a rate cut in the September meeting. Jobs, CPI data, pressure on Jerome Powell. You have to frickin' love it. Let's get into those comments, then we'll get into the crypto news. Ooh, hump day, giving me the chills, baby. TMA Archive says, dude, your Guatemalan coffee is definitely kicked in. You're in rare form. I love it. Love it, my Guatemalan coffee. Can't knock on that. Mr. Fantastic DW says, God, I hope it does fall back to $2 in September so I can buy. He's talking about XRP. Yo, we would need something crazy to happen to bring XRP back to $2. Bro, you're going to need something big to happen to bring us back to the $3 mark, because we're right now at $3.28, and we seem to be pretty strong at that level. What else do I got for you this morning, you jabronis? El Loran, channel member. Thank you, channel members, for the support. I appreciate it. Says CPI actually a good positive to help us get some more time until summer break is over. Looks like stock and market, crypto market, are digging it. They are, and I'm digging it as well, and you should be too. Jabroni Coney, love the name, says Full Metal Jacket. It ain't too damn boku. That's what my wife says, and then I cry myself into the corner. We're talking about regs getting done in September. So imagine the green up on the screen. We get a rate cut with the September meeting. We get regs in September. We get ETFs later in the year. And then Santa Claus comes down your fucking chimney in December and brings your hot wife a good... No, I bring you gifts. That was going to get naughty. I decided not to do that. Oh, and what else do I got for you? How about a vote down below? Were you expecting more price action from the conclusion of the Ripple SEC case? Over 1,700 of you have voted. I want more votes. More votes, damn it. 61% of you said yes, the price should have been higher. So overwhelming people thought there should be more action. We're going to talk about that later in the video. Why? Well, you'll see why. But first, green up on the screen. You ready? Let's do this, kids. Bitcoin sitting at 121,799. Ooh, does that sound juicy? What happens when the day when I do the video when I go, Bitcoin sitting at 300,000 something, XRP sitting at $10.48. That's going to be a fun day, isn't it? ETH 46.70, XP at 328, while ADA's at 87 cents. Look at meme deep in the green up on the screen. Love it. So sweet. Everything is deep green. H-bar as well. What's going on? Well, we got the Fed rates, right? Look at the pivot. Now, why is this so freaking important? Because 1 month ago, 57% chance that we were going to get a cut 1 month ago. And now, pretty much 100% chance that we're going to get a cut. So the market is pivoting. Pressure on Jerome Powell. You got 2 people voting in the Fed saying, yo, we want cuts. This happened last month. And now players are like, yo, we've seen CPI data. We've seen the job market. We need to make these cuts now happen before it's too late. ETH is making a move. ETH liquidation stopped 294 million as ETH approaches a new all-time high. Yes, golf clap. This is good for alts. Why? Because ETH is like a quasi-alt. As one of you said in a video a couple days ago, ETH is the blue-haired giraffe of the crypto group. It identifies as something. We're not necessarily sure what, but it identifies as something. ETH came within 4% of breaking its all-time high price Wednesday morning, triggering nearly 300 million in liquidations. for people that didn't believe that ETH could get there. Ethereum doubters continue to get wrecked on Wednesday with ETH's continued rally. And remember, ETH has touched 4,000 before. ETH has touched 4,000 plenty of times. The problem has been every time it touches it, it sells off big time. We're going to watch that because here's why. If it breaks all-time high, awesome. Cool. But does it hold it? Does it sustain that move? Look at this. This is the all-time chart for ETH, right? You've seen every time it's made a run, it holds it barely. I mean like barely and then sells off. Look at this. Barely holds it, sells off, barely holds it off. See that pattern, right? Rinse, repeat. It happens over and over again. So we need to see, does ETH hold it and hold it for an extended amount of time? If ETH does sell off, does it take the alts with it? Or is that then the alts time in the rotation to start going even deeper in the green? Because we've seen it. The alts need to shine. The alts are going to get some regaronis. The alts are going to get some ETF-aronis. And you jabronis are all going to get laid on Wednesday. Why? Because it's hump day. And if your spouse, side action, significant other, mistress, or whatever the hell you want to call it is like, oh, I'm not feeling good, you tell them Crypto with Klaus said, it's hump day, and that means only one thing. Your pullout game must be strong. Okay, so ETH liquidations, that's happening. That's getting rid of a lot of resistance. That's good. We're going to keep a close watch on ETH because the move has been absolutely bonkers. Check this out. 1 month chart up on the screen. 1 month ago, ETH was under 3,000. That's a 52% gain for ETH in 1 month. ETH is very stable with its price, right? It's not like insanely volatile, right? Like a lot of the alts. ETH is kind of like Bitcoin, kind of like the alts. That's what I said. It's like a blue-haired giraffe. It kind of identifies its own thing. ETH now, roaring. So let's keep an eye on that. Okay, Operation Choke Point 2.0. Okay, we've learned about unbanking. We've learned about how it's happened to a lot of people like you and me, Brad Garlinghouse, and others. Well, listen to this. It's happened to the Trump family, and this is what's caused them to get big into crypto. So sometimes when you piss off your enemies, it gives them fuel to come back even stronger. Listen to this. Don Jr. says his family got into crypto after banks refused to do business after the January 6th nonsense. So again, another debanking leads to what? A big player getting into crypto, which is what? Threatening the banks. So maybe the banks should learn to play with these people or else they're going to get steamrolled by the crypto industry. Donald Trump Jr. says his family didn't have a choice but to get into crypto because banks didn't want to do business with them after January 6th, referring to the attack on the U.S. Capitol as all the nonsense. We got into crypto because we didn't have a choice. This is what was said on Wednesday morning while discussing his family's cryptocurrency business and the $1.5 billion digital coin deal. So think about that. People in traditional finance now are feeling the wrath of crypto bros and gals. Why? Because guess what? They were getting debanked. Brad Garlinghouse got debanked. Yeah. Personally. Now, I'm not talking about Brad Garlinghouse as a business, Ripple. I'm talking about Garlinghouse as a person. He did nothing illegally wrong, right? And yet he was debanked as a person. So now Brad Garlinghouse has every freaking, oomph in his body, right? Motivation to now, what? Do the Ripple Trust banking license, to do all the rails, do all the custody stuff, so that he can take control away from the banks. So maybe the banks should stop pissing off crypto and start learning to work with crypto. Every major banking institution, the people that 2 weeks before we were debanked, we could have called and gotten a loan within 5 seconds, they disappeared. We were left high and dry. Basically, during the first term, certainly after the, let's call it the January 6th nonsense, it got significantly worse. So basically, yeah, you debank us, well, guess what? We're going to build our own industry and we're going to take down the banks. All right, now let's talk XRP because, okay, let me ask you a quick question, okay? We're going to get into this. We need to zoom out just a little bit, then we're going to zoom in and we're going to talk. And remember, like I said, if your wife, significant other, side action mistress, ladies, if your dude isn't putting out, ladies, if you like the carpet yourself and you're a female on female person, if your girlfriend out there isn't helping you out, remember, tell them Crypto Klaus said it's hump day and you deserve that action. Can XRP hit $4 in 2025? Sure it can. I told you earlier what needs to happen. We need some rate cuts. We need some ETFs. And the biggest thing, we need regs. What's pumped the market the most, right? New president, pro-crypto anticipation, and crypto week, right? All regs-based stuff. Okay, here's the thing I want you to think about, okay? So we have catalysts to get us there to the $4 mark. That I don't think any of us can deny that, right? But what has been one of the biggest things that's kept Ripple and XRP in the news? The SEC Ripple case, right? But now that's gone. So we have to think, one of the biggest things that kept us hot, spicy, naughty, and relevant in the news is now gone. That's a big problem, right? Because in crypto, one of the things that keeps you in the front page, price action, newsworthiness shit, right? Debanking, we talk about all that kind of stuff, right? You have to be in the news cycle, right? You have to be relevant. You have to always be at the top. Why? Because in crypto right now, and let me scroll up so you can see and I will highlight it, there are nearly 20 million cryptos out there. So with 20 million cryptos, you got to be front and center on the shelf. And now one of the biggest news topics out there for Ripple XRP over the last how many years is gone with the case being over. So what we get to see is how strong Ripple and XRP is with a vacuum of news. Now, is the news vacuum completely gone? No. Like I said, we still got the ETFs. We still got the regs. We still got the Ripple ecosystem with Hidden Road. All the other purchasing, right? Ripple and the bank trust stuff. Ripple and their vertical integration. Ripple and their rails. Ripple and their stablecoin stuff. So we got a lot of stuff that's newsworthy, but we lose the big SEC thing. We lose the Torres security, like we lose all of that in terms of a newsworthy, right? Keeping us there, right? Front page action. So is the rest of the stuff going on with the Ripple ecosystem strong enough to keep us going? I believe yes. I believe we can hit $4 in 2025. Is it going to take a few things to go our way? Sure. Is it going to take a few negative things to not happen? Of course. If the Middle East flares up and goes all to shit, can it bring the markets down? Yeah, we've seen that happen. If all of a sudden Jerome Powell's a poo-poo pants and decides not to cut rates and be a total jagoff, yeah, that can screw with markets. If all of a sudden Congress can't pass crypto regs in September, October, November, December, could that really screw up our march to $4 for this year? Hell yeah, it can. But you would need a lot of negative things to happen to slow that down. Now, that being said, XRP to $4, I'm confident. All right, I am. I'm very confident. I'm more confident on the $3 floor, and I'm more confident in the overall crypto market. Why? Altcoin season, 40 out of 100. We talked about ETH getting close to that all-time high. We talked about institutional inflows. Who have they been leaning towards recently? ETH, that's huge. We've seen the players recently lean to BTC. BTC this, Sailor this, Orange my balls this. Sell your shares and sit on nothing because Orange is, no, stupid. Now, what are you noticing? There's more blue on the screen. Blue is ETH while the BTC is orange. Look at this. Institutional inflows. Yesterday, $500 million worth of ETH inflows. Only 65 million BTC. The day before, 10th of August, 1 billion in ETH inflows, 178 million in BTC. So you could start seeing ETH is starting to gobble up the money. The market's rotating. They're looking at BTC going, okay, BTC is hot at 121,000, but is there that much room to gain? ETH at 4,600, players are like, oh, okay, we might be able to double our money a lot easier in ETH than we can at BTC. So the institutions start gobbling it up because they see the opportunity. And then what happens is we get the regaronies for the alts. Then those same institutions go, oh, well, now the alts are opportunities, and we've got the regs to protect us so we can rotate into that. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen late into this year and into 2026. Let's turn our attention over to XRP specifically. What do I like seeing up on the screen? 9.4 billion in volume. That's hot. So yes, SEC case permanently over. Donaroni, boys and girls, blue-haired giraffes. So, relevancy, we're going to stay relevant because remember, where is the news going to shift to? XRP ETF talk. That is going to be big the back half of this year, especially the closer we get to November. We're also going to be big with what? Ripple banking news. Yeah, so we've got some big bullets in our gun out there that's going to keep us relevant, that's going to keep us in the news cycle. Specifically for XRP, look at the 7-day. Right? This is the move with the conclusion of the case. And now look at that. Now we've bumped on back to where we've held most of our price action there. The candlesticks for the 1 hour look good. I don't want to zoom into the 15-minute because what? We're above that $3 support level. So here we are right now battling that $3.30 mark. This is exactly what we want to see. XRP looking strong. The volume looking strong. Open interest looking good. Rate cuts looking healthy AF. A total pivot in the data. ETH leading the charge with the alts. The alts themselves looking stronger as a whole with the altcoin season index moving. And everyone, we still don't even have any rate cuts yet to fuel this. We still don't have any regs yet to fuel this. Or spot ETFs yet to fuel this. So imagine when all of that happens. And what happens to the price of XRP and our favorite alts? Oh, baby, we could be looking at a juicy back half of this year into 2026. So can you sense the genuine optimism and excitement in my voice? Well, the dogs can, because they're all over me, surrounding me. Hi, buddy. How's it going? You want some camera time here? Oh, look at my big boy. Okay, you are really big, buddy. I know. I love you, too. I love you, too. For real, we are looking good in the market right now. ETH is looking good in the market. I've got more doggies with me. Hi, Ray, sweet girl. Yeah. Oh, Ray's jealous Judy. She doesn't like other doggies getting attention by me. Hi, Leia. Leia's with me as well. Look at her down there. Oh, hi, sweetie. Ray, I know, sweetie. I know. Look at my girls. Yeah. Ray, stop. So the market is looking good. Hopefully we get the rate cuts in the September meeting. The only problem I got with that is Jerome Powell's been kind of a fuddy-duddy. Yeah, there's a word from like the 50s and 60s for you. I'm throwing it back old school. In fact, I'm going to throw it back a little bit further because the Sox won last night, baby. That's right, we're going to the World Series. No, we're not. But I think XRP can go to $4 this year. And I think it can be because of rate cuts. I think it can be because of some ETF action. I think it can be with some regs happening this year. Heck, we might even blow past $4 if we get all three of those. I'll keep you up to date with the news as it happens. And I also think XRP is going to stay relevant in the news. And I think ETH is going to be a blessing in disguise. I think ETH's hot move right here is going to propel the alts. We're already seeing the green up on the screen as ETH is starting to roar. BTC is slowly kind of creeping up there. But the volume is favoring ETH, and the institutional buying is favoring ETH. And that's because ETH has got the golden pass. So once those alts get the regs, imagine the buying and the price action that happens with the alts. Pretty juicy, isn't it? Sorry, I'm giving my big guy some rubbing down here. I don't know if you could. There it is. Now you can see him. See, he's hiding down here into this. See, that's what you don't see when I do these videos. The dog's underneath the desk. There he is. Hi, buddy. Oh, yeah. Give me a kiss. Oh, such a good boy. So, yeah. Oh, God. Careful, buddy. You're too big for that. You're not a little puppy anymore. So, choo-choo what? Well, obviously, it's choo-choo dog. Yeah, that's what we'll do today. Choo-choo what? Choo-choo puppies. Oh, hi, big guy. Oh, I know. I love you, too. I know. I'm trying to do a video. Stop. I know I love you. Okay. All right. Come on.